No judgment here, just a friendly ear. Tune in every day, bring your worries near. Life Couch Show, let the heartbeats flow. With Fady, we heal and grow. Life on the couch with Fady. Talk it all out, set your mind free. Life on the couch, stories we share. Fady.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life Couch with Fady. Here we talk about life issues, those things that happen to the best of us. Sometimes we're not able to share with people, but we want to create a safe space to discuss these things and hope that you can relate. And also we hope that you always take one or two things away from, every one of our episodes. And today we will be talking about how to position yourself for your future spouse. With me on set to discuss this is Taiwo and Peppy. So right now, I'd allow you guys to introduce yourself. Can we start with you, Taiwo?
All right. Thank you so much, Fady, for this opportunity. My name is Taiwo Gushina. I'm a builder here in the city of Calgary. Mm-hmm. I've been married for 12 years. I'm experienced.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect for this.
Thank you.
Okay, Peppy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Perpetual Atife. And yes, most people call me Perpy because I am a musician. I'm a composer, saxophonist, performer, and also an art administrator. Mm-hmm. Been married for 13 years.
So we have veterans on here. All right. So a lot of times, as singles, you don't know if you're, coming on too much. Sometimes you don't know if you're doing enough. Sometimes you're like, I don't want this guy to know how I feel. And then, sometimes you play hard to get. Some men, I know some men don't. They really like you, but once you play hard to get, they let you be. And some people will chase you into the hole. I remember I used to have, there was this guy that was, those days, that was chasing me. It was so bad. Sometimes when he called, I leave my phone on and just, leave it on anywhere. So he would keep talking because if I ended the call, he would call back. So I just left it on and, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
All right. So today we hope that someone can relate with what we're talking about and they'll share their opinions, and I hope that you'll be able to pick one or two things. All right. First and foremost, Taiwo, how do you know if somebody likes you?
How do I know if someone likes me? Well, for me, it's all about the chemistry, right? You just have a sense that this person is giving you attention. So when the person, has good chemistry and gives certain attention, certain compliments to make me want to, look at you again and attend to you again. So I know there's something going on there.
So the men always know, right?
Oh, yes, we always know.
Oh, my God. So they know. If you're doing this and the guy, it seems like the guy doesn't know. You're hearing it from a guy now.
Oh, we know.
They know. They know. So make your decision. So, Peppy, how do you know if a guy likes you?
Honestly, I can't say for the woman that we fully know because it's either we know or we're in denial or we do not know, actually. Because for the woman, you're like, no, it's just my friend. He's kind. Because there could be, especially for the woman, there could be 5 people who are giving you that same level of attention at the same time.
Yeah.
And so you're like, just being in the middle. But I feel like, just like he said, like Taiwo said, time, attention. If someone is constantly sacrificing for you, constantly being available for you, like you almost can't cry to this person when you have challenges. You can almost you have a success. Is the first person you want to talk to, or the first person,
even as friends.
Yes, even as friends. You have a challenge. You have wins. You want to quickly share updates. Yeah, it could happen on both sides, especially for the woman. It could just be friendship,
Could be friendship.
but in there is some type of love that can develop. So yeah, there's an affection that can develop.
Okay, Taiwo, if you think somebody likes you and they're giving you attention, maybe they just like your person.
Well, I mean, it starts from there, right?
I
You know, usually it starts from the person. You know, I mean, it could be your colleague, someone from church, someone from school, you know, anywhere. But usually you would know as a guy that it seems this lady is into me. And then as the man, if you're into her too, then you make the move. You know, you create more attention for her. You know, like Pepe had mentioned too, you be there for the person. You know, you keep the communication open.
Okay.
And then men will now take it to the next level if you want to take it to the next level, you know.
If
Maybe
not, what would you
What
do?
will you do?
Yes, I want them to know. If not, do you just enjoy the attention and let it linger
oh
on?
boy,
or
we do. We enjoy the attention.
see
It's
men
called leading
leading them on. Oh my God.
No. We say let it linger.
Let it linger. My God, that thing is so difficult for girls.
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, does it like me back? Does it not? And I feel like men know. If
Yes, we do.
I want to take it to the next level from the onset.
We
or
do.
I don't want to.
Because men have certain characteristics and features that they're looking for. So if she's the spec, then you would know. If she's not, then let it
Just
linger
let it linger.
a little bit to see how that goes.
So do you show them attention as well? And just because you enjoy what they're giving you? Or do you
Yes.
just let it be from one side?
Well, it depends. If she's super strong with attention, then you can reciprocate as well, even though you know it's not going anywhere. But men are,
That's wicked though.
you know,
I that's the word. That's exactly what it is. It is wicked because for women, we kind of attach.
Yeah.
It's hard to detach for a woman. I don't know how to say it in biological terms, but it's like every person who shows attention, there is a level of attachment that a woman places on that.
Yeah.
And so letting it linger and not even being very straight and upfront and being even more and more available to me, she is growing
Yeah.
in affection and
Already
getting attached to
fantasizing.
someone. So exactly.
let me defend the guys here.
Okay. Okay.
Let me
Devil's
defend the
advocate.
guys here.
Devil's advocate.
No, so if the guy has a steady relationship and doesn't have time for that, you know, but if he's still in the process of selection,
Okay.
you
Trying
know,
to
then
decide.
he would trying to decide. Then he would let it linger even longer, you know, till it gets to that point where this is the one or she's the one, you know. So, I mean, take it from us men, we enjoy, you know, that attention. So, and then we have, you know, the opportunity to then sit down and think, okay, is she the one? Is
It's
she?
the part where you said, even when we know it's not going anywhere.
Anywhere.
That's
You know,
where I caught him.
you
I'm
know,
like, if you know it's not going anywhere, please.
I like the way you took us
walk
back to
away.
that because I've heard stories, I've seen, and no, but I'm sure except those ones that maybe got married at 19, they found the love of their lives. We all have been through where you're attracted to a guy and you give them green light. You don't want to toast them, of course, but you give them green light, and and you're like, does he like me? And he's not saying anything, and that's why sometimes girls want you to define what you have with them. I think, some people sometimes don't want
You
confrontation.
mean Gen Z girls? Hey, bro, what are we having?
I
here?
know. We have to learn from that, actually. So, Pepe, if you like a guy, what do you do? With a story.
With a story. Honestly, I think I wouldn't say I have too many experiences, but when I like someone, I feel like I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know where they stand, because of especially looking at it from this angle, from where I stand now. I want to know from the onset because I know that I can be fully invested in this thing.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go anywhere, like you said, it would crash me, you know. So when I like someone, I am open and available for conversations, but I don't feel like I've ever led that conversation.
Okay.
I am available, and I feel like what I've done is, I remember when I was my very first ever boyfriend. when I know that I like someone, I'm available. Like,
So what did you do
let's
with
chat.
that
So I
boyfriend?
feel like what I did was just be available, honestly, and in practical sense, like phone calls could go on forever. I was super young. I was probably 20. Was that young? That's not super young, but I had a very.
Well,
I mean, I
that
didn't have
20
all
is
the
young.
fun as a teenager. I was too busy with life. So I was in my 20s, I believe. I'd finished high school, and for me, it was just being available. And calls,
them.
shows up, and being available. And especially for a young guy who doesn't even know where he's going, you're almost, like helping them, staying with them to find their path in their confusions. You're just there and available and listening and supporting. I think that's I don't have one very high-key interesting story, but yeah, for me, it's just being available.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
know- and
All right. Taiwo, what do you do if you like a girl?
Wow, what do I do if I
Or what
like a
do
girl?
you do?
if
Because
you
I
say
know who you
with-
like right
if you say
now.
with a story, so you're saying back, you're saying
Yeah,
it
back
was
then.
not now.
Back then, yeah. Or do you have a story now?
No. I'm saying like I would do it differently now.
Now,
If I
okay,
know
what would you do
now.
differently?
Oh, if I know someone likes me and I wasn't hooked up already, like I will. Oh, bros, what are we, Pico? What are we having here?
Will you say I like you, or you just be like, ah,
Oh, I don't need to even say it. I've been showing you that I like you.
Okay,
That I can't hide it. As a woman, it's
Yeah,
very hard
it's
to
tough.
hide affection.
True.
Even those who play hard to get, and that's why he said we know.
No,
They
but
know.
would you be upfront? Because you mentioned Gen Z now, and these things going on with people being upfront. Oh, where do we stand?
Yeah.
In this, would you do that now?
I will.
That's what she's saying.
Absolutely, but I will give it time. The moment I realize, oh, okay, I really like this person, and I feel like he likes me, but I'm not sure. Bros, don't waste my time. As in, like, life is super busy right
I
now
know, I
to
know, I know.
be emotionally drained, wondering, is this happening? And then,
Yeah.
because the thing about affection, when you like someone, you feel like someone likes you, is that you're almost shutting your mind from someone else.
Sure.
So you're putting your attention here, not
this
knowing
person.
whether or not you're going on the same path. So the best way to save yourself and get out of that box is,
Talk
bros,
about it.
But what if the
where are
guy
we
is
going?
what if the guy is not ready? And maybe he's, in transition where, he's trying to move out of something
really
into
And that's
something
why I
else.
started by
Should that be
saying
our
I
business?
will know. That's why I said I will give it time and realize. I'll give it time and understand, because I need to also know my terrain.
Yeah.
And in my timing, I'm also doing research. And that's we're grown up now. Like, is there someone else? Is there a history? Is there something? Would have been chatting as friends. And so at the point where I realized the coast is clear and I like this person and I feel like he likes me, but I'm not sure. But I need to be sure
Yeah.
so that I know whether I'm moving on, which is very hard for a woman. Moving on is a hard thing for a
Yeah,
woman because,
yeah.
again, we attach.
Yeah.
I want to quickly end it so that I don't, get in too deep and also free myself
Yep.
for another relationship or for
person.
something that is for me. So yeah,
Sure.
I would be upfront.
I know that Pepe says that's what she'll do now. But do it. No matter how old you are. That's actually the best. So, Taiwo, what would you do?
Yeah, so back to that. So what would I do? I would shower her with a lot of attention. Because, creating time, and attention for that person shows, hey, I have interest in you. Beyond that, I would also, show interest in what she likes. So, if she likes to sing, boy, I'll show up at every time she's up there on stage.
Bros, don't go and do it now. And then when don't do.
No, she asked if I like the person.
Okay.
And you know
Sustain
that you're
it.
taking it.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're already in a relationship. These men, you're already in a relationship, but you like this person. The person you're with is your spec. This person is also your spec. And you're enjoying the attention they're giving you. So will you also do this?
Probably, except if you're super, super sure that this is where you're going. But if you're not at that point yet, men will probably do that. Probably do that.
Okay.
But for me, I would, like I said, I would show so much attention in what this lady likes that all she's thinking about is me. I'm
That's
telling
very
you.
intentional.
Yes. So that's it. So that's the word intentional. So I will be intentional in my approach.
Yeah.
I'll be intentional in my, conversations. I'll be intentional in my actions. So I will be deliberate to show you that I'm interested in you because whatever you like, I like.
Yeah.
So
Will
I
you
like that.
sustain that, sir? That's my question. So whatever you like, I like. Is this for the
Pre.
moment, and then at the post, I'll be going to your show
Oh,
by
you know,
yourself.
like is always in the temporary, right? You know, if you like something now, you might not like it 5 years down the road. But at that moment, whatever she likes, I like
You
it.
like.
Yes.
So I'll ask her question again. If maybe you end up marrying that person, will you still like the music with her? Will you still like everything she likes? Or is it just to get
That's what
her?
he has just said. You said in the temporary.
I just thought maybe you didn't mean that. I'm trying to make.
But I mean, there will be certain things that you're drawn to in the first place. Maybe music is one of them. Then you both share a passion for it,
For
right?
it, okay.
But even if, like men, we are always, adaptable. Even if you don't like it at first, because she likes it so much, you would develop an interest for it. Same thing with a woman too. If a guy likes to watch football or soccer all the time, even if though you don't like it, you might just develop an interest for it because your man likes it so much. So it's the same thing too. So some things would stay. Some things would, easily fizzle away.
For me, I know that I don't even watch soccer. But because of the blue color, I liked blue at the time. I liked Chelsea. But because my husband is Arsenal, now I'm Arsenal.
You see?
Not that I even care who won or who lost or whatever, just by association.
You see?
Anyway, Pepe, did you want to say something there?
No, I do. I totally understand what he's saying, where you're coming from, Taiwo. I get it. And yes, things are in temporary and things will change. And that's what you see even in marriages. You'd be like, you used to take me out for dates. We used to go for dinner dates and we no longer do those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a challenge. That's a problem. And I can only say that, yes, showing interest in what they like is good, but being honest and saying, I don't like music. Well, I'm just here because of you.
Yeah. So
Trust me,
they'll
at
know.
that moment, we won't say that.
I know,
because then
but
the truth-
I swear I will appreciate that. So
Yeah.
that I know that you're here because of me. It's actually a good thing.
And then when you stop, I know, you never even really liked it.
And then I can still tease you and say, I know you don't like it, but follow me. You get, but that I feel like honesty, even in dating people, is so important. That's why part of the reasons we have challenges tomorrow, like things he suddenly changed. He's not who I used to know him to be, or he no longer cares about the things that I care about. So even in those little things, you feel like you just want to be there for them. You have to find some space to be honest about it. Yeah. Say, I really don't like. I've never watched sports before. I don't like it, but I mean, as long
Just
as you're
because of
here,
you.
you're here. Let me hang out with you. It's
I think it makes
actually-
a difference.
So just
So
being
guys,
honest.
Hear ye, hear ye. So, Pepe, can you ask a guy out? Pepe of then and Pepe of now.
Pepe of then.
Oh, I
Pepe
want to
of then
know.
was
I want to hear this answer. I'm super interested. I want to hear this answer.
I will tell you. Pepe of then was super shy and inhibited, very, very into me. Life was tough. Between getting back from school, literally trekking back from school long distance and making sure that the store is ready, and because life was. My mom raised all 5 of us. I'm sure you know the story. My dad was having fun, and so it was. And I was child number 4, and so you're like the one heavy laden with the work. The older one is in school. The next one is busy. The other one is having exams. So
And it's on you.
so the pressure is more on you. And at the time, coming back from school and being exhausted, and having to still have work to do the rest of the day, I don't think I would. I don't even think I wanted to have a boyfriend. That's why I said my first guy was maybe my 20s or maybe 19, I guess. So I would not have, because at the time it wasn't priority for me. But if I was at the point of, okay, I'm 30 or I'm 25 and I'm due for a relationship or get ready to settle down, and I would.
Okay.
I would, because at the time I would be much older, but I feel like there's nothing wrong in asking someone out. But before I would do that, I swear I would do my research. I would understand where this is going, what I feel, because I have always known how important it is, the affection of a woman, even as a young person. I've always known how hard it can be if you give your heart to someone. So I think that's part of the things that helped me back, even as a child, even as a young person. I never got involved in anything because I wasn't ready for stress.
And it
So
is stress.
It is stress. It is stress, emotional stress. And so I would, at the point when I know that, okay, I'm ready and I think I like this person, I think he likes me, but I feel like he's probably the shy one or unsure of where I stand. So I honestly would, but I will definitely do my research. I know that traditionally we say, let the man chase you. Yes. In men's subtle ways, they probably are chasing, but are not able to hit the nail on the head. And so if
So you help them.
Yes. If I see signs of them chasing, loving and being attentive, being available, supporting, just that's
No
them
doubts.
chasing in their own language. I will go ahead and do that and ask
Nice.
them out. Yes.
Do you think you could propose?
Me propose? No, I would buy the ring and give it to him and say, "Your brother proposed to me." I would take the money from his account, help him buy the ring, my size,
I actually
put it on his hand and
Prefer
say, bros.
this puppy.
Oh yeah,
Sweetie, it's time. This is your ring.
this is your ring. Oh yeah, let's do this. Which restaurant do you want to use? Oh yeah, I'll go and set it up. Oh yeah, we'll now. Because all these proposals you see on social media, you think all of them is real. Some are set up, are movies, and
I
some
know,
are
yeah.
real. A lot of them are real, but then you can literally create your reality, what you want to see, and then
But
Bros.
coming from coming from a guy's angle, if a lady does that, wow, that's bold. You know,
Does it change what you feel for them? Does it change if you will date them? If they ask you out?
to me, no. I would really even appreciate that. You know, because I mean, it goes to show that, hey, I'm into you, my friend. You know, and I want you. You know, and every man wants to be wanted. You know what I mean? They want women to shower them with a lot of affection. So if I'm in a position where a woman does that to me, and I
like them.
and I like them, oh yeah, I'll do it the next day.
So it doesn't.
I will
So
do
it doesn't make a difference because I have spoken to guys who say, "Oh, I prefer when I chase."
Yes, because that's what men do. You know, we are men. You know, you cannot rob us of that.
That
you know,
chase.
that chase. You know, but again, you know, we are in different times now. So if a lady, you know, makes the first move, I don't see anything wrong in that. But hey, I mean, I did my chasing in the early 2000s, so made the move, you know, to take the relationship to the next stage, and wanted me to propose and say, "Hey, Ogbeni, this is your ring. Go do your thing." I will do it the next day, right?
You like them,
If I like that, I will do
but
it the
if
next
not,
day.
would you
If not, I would stall.
yeah.
You know, I would stall, and I would honestly, if she came and, you know, was that bold, I would sit her down like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not the guy for you," you know, and yeah, according to Pepe, would die a natural death at that point, you know. But I
What if
mean,
she now says, "Oh, we've been dating for 3 years, so why?" You know,
yeah, but why would she do that if you know she wasn't absolutely certain? You know, Pepe had said that, you know, you have to do your research and all of that. So if she had done a lot of research and she was sure, then it would be the right guy, you know. But again, guys, we can be.
you let us know what you want us to know. Trust me,
I
'Cause
know.
it's not different. It's just now it's just dependent on what you feel. Because if she does the research and she's, well, maybe she checks her family, she checks everything. She's like, okay, this is the kind of guy I want. So from her end, she's done everything.
Did she see the mother? If she's seen the mother,
Your mother?
yeah. If she saw my mother, then yeah, almost there.
Please tell me about it. What is with the mother?
Do you mean going to visit your mom?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
does that
one of
make a
those things.
difference?
It does. Well, to me, it does.
If you
Some
don't
guys,
like her and she's not your spec and she goes to see your mom, does that make a difference?
no, I have to take her to see my mom.
I'm just trying to say that the basic thing here is who you want.
Yes.
Whether they propose or you propose or they go see your mom or not. If they're the person that you want, then you will move ahead,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The thing, I think the problem a lot of women just have is, how do I know that this person really likes me?
Yeah.
Right?
It will just save us the stress if they can
Yeah.
just say it.
Maybe.
Oh well, that's not gonna happen. So
Can you-
it's not gonna happen. I can tell you that for sure right now.
But someone's listening to you. Just tell a lady, a single lady, they could be in their 30s, in their 40s, and, you know, there's this guy in their life. How do I know? I always tell people anyway that if a guy likes you, you will know. they will reach out to you. You will know, even if they don't ask you, you'll know if somebody likes you. You'll be on their mind. They will, it doesn't
Yes.
matter how busy they can never be too busy or too tired for you.
Yes.
Right? So I want to hear
Well,
from the man.
to that lady that, you're probably in this situation, you don't know if the guy really likes you. One of the things, or some of the things I would say you look out for is attention. If this guy, has absolutely all the time for you, whenever you call him, is available. Whenever you have a problem, you share with him, and he shares his with you. Whenever this guy is vulnerable
With you.
whenever this guy shares wins, losses, is very emotional with you. And permit me to say, when he takes you to see the mother,
Then that's
I
it.
think I hear you. I
yes.
hear you in that.
Yes.
So I just wanted to peek out the vulnerability
Yes.
thingy. So
When
is
he
it a
loses
thing?
guard around
Is it
you,
a thing? Yeah.
yeah, when a man loses guard around the lady, she's the one.
She's the one.
Yes.
Oh my God.
When the man thing, is let go and the jacket is off,
So
and
he tells you his problem.
he tells you his problems, he tells you what he's struggling with, he tells you his challenges, and you're there together to, be together as a couple, and you're vulnerable, he's vulnerable to you, then, yeah.
And
that's-
how would you expect a woman to respond to that? Just so we learn.
Well, I mean, women should, you should have to show a lot of empathy. If a man is vulnerable to you, you have to show empathy that, this guy is throwing away his madness, and trying to be vulnerable to me. Maybe he sheds a tear, or he
Wow.
tells you something that, he would naturally not tell anybody. You keep that, keep that secret, show empathy with him, show concern for him, and then walk with him through that process, whatever challenge or whatever that situation is in time. So walk with him. And if your man knows that, hey, this lady has my back, this lady is there with me, and when I was vulnerable, she was there, he's not going anywhere. Because guess what? Men want to be loved. Men want to people that respect them, people that show a lot of affection. So if a lady reciprocates with all these things, you've checked all the boxes, my dear.
Oh my God.
I think empathy and love and affection, these are second nature or first nature, if you permit me. They come naturally with a woman. Most women
We'll do that.
would be there, would be emotional with you, would cry with you, will be a strength for you when you need that. I think, except when a woman has been bruised or hurt from maybe an experience where they gave their all. I just want to mention that is one thing that I know most women for. Or in fact, maybe too much empathy, too much love, too much affection, too much attention, too much, dedication to someone.
But if a man decides to show that to a woman, that's what we're talking about here. If the man decides to be vulnerable, if a man decides to lose his guard around that particular lady, then the lady should think in her head, I'm like, hey, this is the person, because men typically, would not do that.
I think what Pepe is trying to say is a woman ordinarily would do that if they like you. And that if somebody doesn't do it, doesn't mean they don't like you. It just means maybe they've learned from giving everything. And it doesn't mean, all right, Pepe, am I speaking
Yeah,
your...
of course. Yeah, but I also get what he's trying to say. So, yes, you're saying if a man breaks down that much, that means they really like you.
They like
Yes.
you.
I want to do a research into that and see that it doesn't always end like that. It doesn't always mean that. I don't think it always means that. There are you know about friend zone? Like we call it like friend zone, like someone you can literally be vulnerable to and there's nothing in there. So yes. And I feel like a woman, it's not even difficult. You don't even need to tell a woman to show empathy for a man in that state. And yes, it makes it easy for a woman to believe, oh, this guy really likes me. But I can almost tell you that there's been situations where, even with that in place, it still didn't mean that for the man. Yeah, he meant that for the woman. And he didn't mean that for the film. But I hear you, especially when with seeing mothers, seeing my mom. I get that because most boys are just mommy's babies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys, and I can tell you how close or how
Imagine those boys now
Connected.
bring a lady home and say, "Hey, mommy."
And they won't bring just anyone.
No. You know.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you in that. I hear
Okay.
you in that.
So what would turn you off, Pepe? In a man?
What would turn me?
Maybe you'll see this guy from afar, and it's happened to me. You see them like, I like this person, and then close up.
Honestly, one thing turns me off with men, and it's not one man. It's just one thing that I know. Men don't know how to keep secrets. Men don't know how to keep things. Like I'm talking to a guy that I'm friends with, and next thing you've heard it from his friends. So that's one thing, and it's like by default, I'm always looking out for that because. Especially in high school, you're chatting with, you're hearing what this guy did with this. You're hearing it all over in school, and I think it's very normal. Even in old age, like they can't still keep things to themselves. So they have to tell their
Is that
friends.
true, Tayo?
They have to tell their best friends.
I mean, if you're younger, yes. But
Okay.
if you're together as a couple, I would imagine there will be a little bit of more maturity with that. The reason why men do that is it's an ego thing, right? So they want
it
to
is?
brag and show
I
off
didn't
with
know.
their friends, Oh, I did this. I was able to score here, stuff like that, So it's an ego thing. So, and men are, we are egocentric beings too, right? So anything to bring the ego up, we are all up for it, right? So when you're younger, and that comes around, you're sure. You want to,
Okay.
bring the ego up a bit. But I would imagine if the man is, settled with a family, of course, I would imagine he
A
would
difference.
exactly
Yeah.
keep his
Or
mouth
even
shut. Yeah.
before marriage, like you're serious about this person.
Then there will be secrets. There will be things, and that's what I mean by the vulnerability part. So when he becomes vulnerable to her, he's like, so I'm not going anywhere. And she's vulnerable to him, he's going to stay between the both of them, right? So you wouldn't imagine that men at that point, of that vulnerability would now betray that, So that would be, then there's no relationship there, in my opinion.
It's a turn off though. On the more serious note would be, when a man is not ready to take chances, take risks. Because it's a big deal even in marriage, and you feel like some people get to a certain level where they have comfort. And as a woman, you don't want to be the one who's pushing and saying, "Oh, you should try this. You should do this. Oh, you should do that. Oh, you can do this." And you want to do that, but as a second, like a second support system. So when a man is seeing opportunities but they pose risks, but you can see how even with that risk, he's going to come out a better, stronger, more, and then they're afraid to take it because where they are at the moment is very comfortable. That turns me off because then I see a side of me that I didn't know exists. This side where I'm like, bros, wake up, and I don't want to, especially as a woman, I don't want to be the one telling you, oh, you should try this, or this would be good. I want you to make up your mind and then be there and say, yes, let's keep going. I'm there with you.
So you want them to be ambitious.
Yes. And I know, especially in Canada where we, looking at our system here, there's this contentment, which is a good thing. And with us Africans, or with me, Nigerian, and with most of Nigerians I've seen, we don't know how to settle in a way, which is both a good thing and not so good thing because we need to find that balance of contentment. But because of where we're coming from, we always feel like, I feel, and I always know that there's something more. There's something more. And in my heart, I'm like, where does this something more end? So I do need that balance, yes. However, I still do need that drive. I need to see, because even as Christians, I believe, in that, yes, God loves us to be in a comfort zone and be comfortable and be happy and have peace and have rest. But I believe that God always wants us to do more. There's something more. Because like this, precept upon precept. Like we we see in part. So you cannot have this and say this is the full. You have to tell me there has to be
More.
so it comes with challenges, it comes with risk, it comes with sacrifices, it comes with discomfort.
Yep.
So with a man, even as a young person, once I see that, almost I don't want to call it laziness, like almost being so content, like oh, I'm okay. My father has a land, and then I have this house. Now I have 2 real estate property, and I'm okay. No, excuse me. There's more.
There's more.
And it doesn't even have to be money, more money.
Yep.
It could be just more impact, more
Yep.
more challenges. So for me, that is a turn off, so that I do not become the man. I don't want I don't want to use that word that way.
That
so I
role,
don't
you don't want to switch.
exactly so that I don't mess up with his space. So that's
it. So what's your turn off?
Well, for me, wow. In a woman, I don't like people. I don't like women that are too, forward. In my opinion.
that's because if you say I'm
So
sorry.
I will say what is being forward.
You
Give me
have-
examples of
I'll give an example. You have to let the man be the man, right?
which is what she was saying.
Exactly. That's
Like,
why I'm
you
trying
know,
not to be forward.
You can be.
So you have to take
because
that
men
role.
don't like that. Yeah? You have to give the man the space
space to be man.
to be the man. You have to respect him. Men don't like women who are disrespectful. So respect is one thing.
Ladies, listen up.
Respect.
Okay.
So the lack of respect and not giving the man the opportunity to be the man, it's a big turnoff, right? Because the man has responsibilities. There's a lot of things on his shoulders that he's thinking of. In his brain, he's juggling finance, relationship, parents, brothers, sisters, uncles, Nigeria, Canada, he's in the midst of so many things. So allow him, to be the person that he wants to be. Allow him the opportunity to lead the family where, he has a vision that he wants to do. So if he shares his vision with you, don't fight him. If he shares his vision with you with what he's planning to do, don't fight him. Don't, try to be the man in the house. Let him be the man in the house.
And these signs you will see when you're dating or when you're courting.
Absolutely. Confrontational women, if they want to be heard, I want to be heard all the time. Yes, you will be heard, but, you cannot take the place of the man. Even though you want to be heard, you cannot swap. The man is still the head. So if you're being too confrontational and you want to have a say in everything and you want to have a point in everything, men will just be like, okay, you know what? Who's the man here? Because what you're doing is you're stepping on his ego. We don't like that. You're being disrespectful to him. We don't like that. So those two things lights are out at that point.
Lights out.
So you'll be like, even if you liked her before, you'll be like,
You start second guessing that, did I make the right choice here?
if I marry this one, hey.
Funny thing is, some men
That's what they
that's
like.
what they like because they know they are the very very
True.
cool-headed,
And they
calm.
need the push.
Yes. If you see, I've met Igbo men who love their wife and their wife in my eyes,
Are forward.
like forward and naggy, and but that's what they like.
They like.
And they're quiet. So the wife does the speaking,
How does a lady
but
even
they
know?
still lead.
I guess it's not one size fits all.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's never that for anything, but and I think that's what's difficult sometimes. And we want to tell people to be themselves. I've had friends who say, "Oh, am I too much?" And what I say is, be yourself. The person who likes you, don't. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Do not pretend,
Exactly.
because your true self will still come out.
Yeah, you can
So-
manage your excesses. You can realize, I talk a lot.
Yeah, you can learn.
I'm always too forward in my. You can try, but you can't change. You can't fully
You
change
can't
that.
change yourself.
So in your being forward, just knowing that you almost cannot marry another forward man, another
Right?
outgoing person.
Yeah.
It's like there just has to be that balance. And sometimes I don't know. It's again never one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's always very peculiar. And just knowing what works for you.
Are there even rules for these things?
There isn't.
Like 12 steps to catch a man, 20 steps to catch a woman.
It's not what size fits
Because,
all.
yeah, I've seen beautiful people. If it's about beauty, it's not. If it's about character, I've seen people who are very good, like respectful, everything, and they're still not married.
But
you
one
know.
thing I want to say though, with regards to that, is especially for the ladies, you have to be confident. You have to know who you are. Because to partner with someone else, you have to know who you are internally.
Person, yeah.
Do not let your joy and your happiness be dependent on another person.
Sounds
That
like
is
Will
such-
Smith and Jada.
Exactly. So
Guys,
you
Fade did not say that.
No, but that's what that's
Just
what is
kidding.
coming out in the media. Like it's as if the last post by Will Smith was
I'm not
every
responsible
time
for your
exactly
I
I'm not
saw that.
responsible for
Yes.
your happiness. And it's so
Yeah.
key. That's so important. Like you have to find
Your own.
your joy. Find
Exactly.
you are a whole human being
Exactly.
made by God. Yes, taken from the ribs of a man, but you are still a whole
Your
human
own
being.
person.
You're a whole emotional being, and knowing, and it's such a hard place to think that my happiness
Lies on
lies in that.
with this
No,
or that.
there is shared joy. There's shared moments. There's shared, building things together. But then there is you, and
As a
just
person.
yeah.
I mean, even
So-
growing up, girls are being taught that, hey, everything you do is to your husband's house. You don't sweep that floor. Well, is that what you're going to be doing in your husband's house?
My mom has a son that thinks of me.
My mother said that to me, and sometimes I say it to my daughter. I'll be like,
See, you've transferred it.
I swear.
My mom, I hate. Oh, there's this song. She'll be like, I'm like, I hate when she sings that song. I know when it's coming. Which brings me to this question: do you think a woman fully knows herself in her 20s? So, Peppy, I'm going to ask, what age did you get married?
25.
25, okay. Do you think at 25, but we're considering a lot of things. Sometimes people mature at 20. Depends on your upbringing and what you've been through. Do you think in your 20s you have fully known who you are and able to, because you can't give what you don't have. Do you think you're ready for marriage?
In this age and time, yes. And
Okay.
if you grew up too quickly, yes. By growing up too quickly, I would say, I mean, for instance, my journey as a person, I started working, even though Nigeria is not like Canada where you can work in Tim Hortons, but I started working right out of school. I've been working, been all over the place, been doing so many things, just, survival.
Yeah.
I learned so quickly how important, like almost independence. Down to from my 13, when I was 13, this is girls growing up and maturing, puberty, and there was nobody to talk to and say, I've
Wow.
seen my period, or no, I was on my own. I had no funding or anything to say, okay,
Wow.
even sanitary towels. So growing up quickly helps you
Mature.
helps you really mature. And it's not the best thing, because in a way for some you'd be like, I lost my childhood. I'm sorry. Well, it is real. So you lose time to be a child, or to grow up and have all those beautiful, but at the same time you realize what's important, and you begin to know yourself, because you have been taking care of yourself
Yep.
for a long time.
Yep.
So if I've tended to this person, I know what makes this person happy.
Happy.
For instance, DJing is something I've always dreamed of doing, and I'm not calling myself a DJ. Well, last night I was a DJ
Oh
for the
my
very
God.
first time, and it felt so good.
Good.
And I didn't have to say, okay, ask permission from my husband, say, okay, please, can I
Can
do
I do
DJ, or
this?
do I have to do you think it will make me happy?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I know that it will
will
make
make
me
you
so much happy. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So you can grow up. If you grow up fast, even at 20, you can fully know yourself and know exactly where you're going and know what works for you.
Well, I don't feel that way though.
I'll just share. Okay, let's listen to you. What do you think?
Well, for me, I think for me, in your 20s, you still have your whole life ahead of you. I mean,
For
nothing
women?
for women, yes.
Okay.
Nothing against, settling down in your 20s. But I think you have to have some certain kind of experiences. Permit me to say, make some mistakes.
Yeah.
Because those things would help you by the time you get in your 30s and you get, settled, it will help you shape your decisions. It will help you shape, some of the yes you say, some of the no's you say, but that depth of experience, of life experience.
You need it.
You need it. In my opinion, you need it, because, I've seen people who, because they didn't have some kind of experience, before they decided to get married. Now in marriage, they're doing so many things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, does she think she's 20? Why is she doing this?
Can you give me an instance?
Well, I mean,
Because this is very practical for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. So I relate with that. And recently, I have been telling people that I'm not sure that I even at 25. Fine, I had started working when I was 20. Right after school, I got my first job in the bank. I was 23 or whatever. But I don't think I had the opportunity to make those mistakes and do those things, right?
But
And
do we have to make mistakes to get?
not necessarily mistakes, but live that life.
Yes.
Get to know who you
yes,
are.
it's very important.
I would say that I started knowing who I was in maybe my late 30s, kind of, right? And I was talking to somebody recently, and I've referred to this in previous sessions. The lady is in her early 30s, and she's like, she just found who she is, and
Is she
then
married?
now she's not married,
Okay.
but I think she's dating someone. And then who she's dating, she says, this person, what he does complements what I do, right? And there's nothing, that will bring shared experiences, shared vision. They will build memories. You
Yes.
have a common vision.
Yes.
At that time. And I was asking her, if you had got married at 25, don't you think this would have caused problems? It might have. It depends. It's not, there's no rule, like I say. But it's good. So I tell people, if you're in your 30s, thank your stars, live your life, and then take your time to find the person. So, but like I said, your experience, like for example, you had to grow up by force. And then by 25, you were mature. You already know who you are.
Exactly.
So it depends on your experience as well. There's no age to this. It's just women need to, I feel like, because women, I was talking to someone yesterday as well. She's been married for 30 years. And she said she's the one that has been rocky in the marriage, that the husband has been solid, strong. Why? And she got married at 20. I feel like it's because she was evolving over time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not sure how women can know if you get to a point where okay, this is me. I'm confident about myself. I can express who I am to you, and then you can.
And then she can transfer that and compliment another man.
Yeah.
And guess what? If it's a matured guy too, it's gonna be, a square peg in a square hole where, they're just made for each other.
Yeah.
But if the woman is still in a transition where she's trying to discover who she is really, then attaching herself to another man, could be a challenge, at that time.
What I can say is honestly, it's deep, but it's not that deep.
Okay.
In a sense that you can be married without even knowing yourself, but you're already in it. Give yourself time while you're in it. Because I know you feel like, oh yeah, you have to know yourself to know the right person. Sometimes we never even know. Even when we say we have grown and we now know, we actually
still
do
evolve
not
again.
know. We do not know. Owing to God and owing to just life generally. People change. Even we change.
Yes.
Our preferences will change. So my
Yeah.
point is, be ready to grow, because be open to exploring. So even if, I'm married at 20 and I realize at 25 that I do not know myself. Hello, find yourself. You don't have to say, the marriage is not working, I'm going to work. No, it's like sit down and find yourself.
That's true.
And then
And people talk about, this time mapping, and like mapping your years and figuring out who you are, where you're from, what inspires you, what brings you joy. Figure these things out. You don't have to say, I made a mistake. Excuse me. We all, in fact, everything.
nobody knows
You're
what they're
taking,
doing.
yeah, it's like picking a career. You pick a career, you go study engineering, and you realize that I actually want to be a
Something else.
yes. Do you now say, okay, I will go back to the university? Hello,
Or start
why you? Yes. For some people, you have the time or chance to go back to university. But for some other people, right where you are, you are beginning to acquire the knowledge you
That you
need
need,
to
yeah.
be what you want
What
to
you
be.
wanna be.
So basically, it doesn't matter what you've done or how So some
Listen.
people, they get married at 19 and they're still happily married, and it doesn't mean that everything is smooth. It's just that they have given themselves, because we're human beings, we
Yeah.
have the ability to stretch. It's just like being pregnant and you see your tummy as flat as it will begin to stretch and accommodate. So we can stretch. So if you find that there was something that attracted you to this person, it's something you like about this person, you don't have to say, oh, I didn't know myself if I got married to him, so I don't think, or I depend on him for my happiness. Find yourself.
Yourself.
You still,
Yeah.
as long as you're still breathing, you can find who you are and actually feed that person, feed that spirit of yours that you need, and just thrive.
Okay. So how I will put this is the fact that you didn't know yourself or you find yourself evolving. Take your time and find yourself. This will be to the spouses. Be patient with them. Right? Sometimes while they're finding themselves, things will change and you find out that they grow. And that's why you find that couples need to grow together. And if you're in your 30s and your 40s and you feel like it's too late, I'm just telling you it's not. Enjoy the single life while you can, and, trust God. We can never remove the God factor. I always say there's no rule for anything. You see some books, 5 Steps to Riches. No, it's not. So I just want your personal story, Taiwo. How did you get your wife to the altar? What did you do?
I want to hear that.
Hey. Okay, I met her during, we had what they call the NYSC, National Youth Service Corps. That time.
Most
So-
marriages happen.
I know. I hope they paid you.
No, they didn't. So she was just a sweet girl, very innocent.
By the way, her birthday is June 24, 2 days before mine. So we are sweet. Sorry to cut you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So, I just connected with her, and she was sweet.
What do you mean by sweet? You said that twice. What does sweet mean?
Sweet means she had a persona that just went well with my spirit. I was very comfortable around her. Was very vulnerable around her. So, I was just
Taken away.
yes.
Blown.
I loved her, and then we evolved. After the NYSC, we went our separate ways. But she was stuck in my head, and I was like, oh, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Because I wasn't ready at that time. I wanted to go abroad. I was in Nigeria. I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to go do masters. Life started throwing a lot of things at me, but. I came to a point and I had a discussion with her. She was like, no, we got to do this. So I said, okay, no problem. Let's do it. So because while I was trying to figure the next phase
Sorry,
of
who
my
said
life.
we got to do this? Was it you or her?
I said
Okay,
it.
okay,
But then she, she was like, yeah, let's
Okay,
do it.
okay.
I'm ready too.
Okay.
So.
And that was right after NYC.
No, not right. It took
Okay.
about 2-3 years
Okay.
after that. But, because what I'm trying to say is I was trying to move into something else, like I wasn't ready, because I thought, I needed $1 million in my account or, something like that. But then I was like, I'm going to lose this girl if I don't make
See,
this
if a guy
move.
likes you, they like you. You don't have to do a lot.
It's just like a
Did she
job-
do anything?
like a job
Did she do
interview.
anything? She
No.
she was impressed on his mind.
Yes.
If a guy likes you, you'll know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So I knew it was inevitable that this was the next thing to do. So I told her, she was like, okay, no problem. You have to go see my parents. So we jumped on a flight. We went to go see her parents. And then that's it. A couple of months after.
How did you propose?
So I proposed. It was a funny thing. I proposed on the 31st of December, 2000.
Into the
and-
new-
Man, the best crossover. Romantic. I can't imagine.
Yes.
I'm sure her new year would have been
It was great.
stars
It
and
was great.
everything.
It was great. And then the June of the following year.
June?
We proposed in
Months after.
December and then we got married in
June what?
June 18,
A
2011.
few days before her best
Yeah,
birthday
a
gift.
week before her birthday.
Nice,
So
nice,
that's my
nice.
story. And we've
Okay.
been together since.
And Pepe, what's your story? How did they get you to the altar?
It's a long story. It's a long story that I don't know if I'm ready to share, if I have all the actual details to share. But yeah, I did it for 3 months and popped the question and I'm like, yeah,
Were you easy to catch?
Um,
Because it seemed to me like at that point you knew what you wanted.
yeah, it was very straightforward for me. And that's why I share. Even for me, it wasn't like, oh, there was this, oh, yeah, like hot tummy, hot butterflies, and all those type of
stars.
yeah, exactly. But I remember one story, an Indian sheikh or whatever they call them shared and saying like, Indian love is like when you put a pot of water on the fire and it starts out cold and it starts to boil and boil and before you know it starts to give out steam. But there's some love that starts out boiling, like you just pour chemical and chemical
And it blows.
and it just blows, from there. And that's what I would say for myself. So but at 3 months I wasn't ready to. I wouldn't say just because I was Christian, but I just never had the heart to have long relationships because I'm like, no, I don't want to 6 months. Okay, now let's try and have sex. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, I just if I know that this is it and you know what it is, okay, let's get into it so that at least personally I'm not committing myself, especially because I've known from a very young age that any connection with a man lingers with me because I am stuck. So and sex is one of the biggest ways to be stuck. And I never wanted to struggle with my life in that sense. So
that's about knowing yourself. Actually.
Yeah. So at 3 months, when we dated for 3 months, I was like, oh, I'd like for you to marry me. And this was how he said, he was like, I know it doesn't make sense to you, and I'm going to give you time to think about it. I mean, I just came down from the car and I just went into the house because it didn't make sense to me and I wasn't feeling any excitement.
No butterflies.
Exactly. I wasn't feeling any excitement. But as the days went by, I felt peace.
Peace
I felt calm, like I wasn't feeling like, oh, something's about to happen. Like I was just so calm, and it felt like normal. I was like, is this how everybody feels? And I was like,
To
okay.
each their own.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, and then we've got 3 months and we're there, and then I think how many months after? I think 3 months after we were married, and so
nice.
yeah, it was pretty straightforward for me. But and that's why I say, even in that, sometimes as a woman, you feel like, I didn't have all the time to enjoy courtship, or back to what we're sharing. Oh, I didn't have all the time to explore and be and make mistakes. No, and sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I did those things. No, you couldn't do those things right then, but you can do that right now. You're married to this guy, so be in courtship, have fun and find yourself, find himself, build together. Build your collective vision, build your collective dreams, have your own individual goals that you know helps you, feed it back into the family. So I feel like our cases are always different. It's not always going to be that burst of, but however it comes to you, or however it happens for you, however early and you feel like, oh, you're not ready, and you feel like you want to get into it, go ahead and get into it and let yourself grow in the middle of all of that. It's so important that you're open and flexible to stretch.
And I've seen the way he supports you. EJ last year, I know how he
even this year.
Even this year. Oh, I didn't hear the story for this year, but last year, how he helped to sell your ticket.
This year was
making
more.
calls. Really,
the guy was going from Walmart to drop flyers everywhere.
Wow.
They had to call me and
What
say,
more
"Hello,
do you
we're
want?"
seeing all your flyers. We're seeing your flyers on
Everywhere.
every car. Please, you have to stop." I said, "Please don't tell my husband to stop." My husband
See, I
is
like him already.
My husband is doing this. He's doing this from like the pit of his heart, and I didn't even let him know that because I'm like, he's so all over, and supporting, and it doesn't mean that everything is perfect. That he has to,
of course.
it's just to know that this is life.
Yeah.
You choose to do it, you do it,
With this
and
person.
even if things end up, crazy, just choose to, give it all your heart, and just like a woman, that's what we do. It's like we don't know how to do half.
Yeah.
It's like
Whether
whole
you're in
thing.
or you're out.
Exactly. So yeah.
We're going to round this off with this question. What's the role of a faith in choosing a spouse? Why I'm saying this is I know some Indians, they, fine, they have their own consultation kind of thing, but I know that they just go find somebody for you, and marry you off to this person. No feelings, nothing. I have a friend who, I think she was married when she was 20. In fact, she's my mate. Her child I think her first child is over 20, whatever, right? And you're like, how did you, like, no feelings, nothing. And I don't know if they pray to their God, but they're not like, I'm waiting for God, waiting for God to show me. Or, and sometimes these marriages work out. So why in Nigeria are we waiting and praying? And so what would you say? I'm not saying it's bad to pray. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that these things work for them. Not all their marriages work. Of course, nothing is perfect, right? But you see that these things, and they're not waiting. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What is the role of faith? And that's, I know it's for a lot of Nigerians, it's, oh God, show me who my husband is, or show me who my wife is.
That's a good one. Well, for me, faith is not just a person or something that you can flip up and down, like a switch. It's eternal. So when it comes to, getting married, faith, yes, does play a part in it. Pepe had mentioned that she was in peace. I believe God is always speaking to everybody. So if you are in a relationship with someone, and I do encourage people to pray, you go on your knees and pray and say, God, this person that I'm chasing or is chasing me, is he the right person for me? You will see signs.
Yeah.
One of the signs I would say is peace. If you experience peace with this guy, if he doesn't beat you.
Some don't beat you, but there was. I feel like the way God spoke with you is her image never left your mind.
Yeah.
She was just sweet for me.
Well, you weren't even praying about it at that time, right?
No, but she was praying. It was the prayer. The prayer person.
Maybe it was her prayer that worked.
I think it was her prayer that worked because I wasn't praying that time. But for me, it was just the peace I felt around her. And she was sweet. She was just...
She's sweet. I've heard it like
4 times.
10 times. Let me exaggerate.
She was just right. So, but for that lady that's praying, whoever is in your life, if you are at peace with that person, and if you see a future in that person, take out every emotion. Be very spiritual. Go on your knees and pray and say, "Hey God, I'm trying because." If you have A and B and say, God, who will I go with? I don't think that's fair. I think you just put all of them down and say, who should I go with? And then God would, put some things in your mind. The person would do something that will make you.
Can you narrate that again? If what?
No, I'm saying that if you have like 2 people, I'm saying just put
And you're
them
trying
down.
to decide.
And you're trying to decide. Put
So
them
does
down.
that mean God did not answer the prayer of the other one that you're not going with?
To me, I would just say to the person, don't do that because you if you like A or B, you like A or B more. Say, oh God, I really, really want you to choose for me. You already know this is the person.
That's like going to the herbalist and saying the 2 photos and say, please help me. Who should I marry? Babalawo.
But I think you already know you can't like 2 people the same way. I don't know. At least the way you're talking at you used to have multiple. So will you ever say that they are all at par?
No, never.
There was someone that, like, this person was sweet.
Yes.
And she just surpassed every other person that was there before.
Miles away.
So you kind of know. I don't know how, but what do you think? Do you think faith made it work?
Yes, to an extent, yes, because the faith part was crucial. Because when you involve God in it, then you are deliberate, to involve, God in your decision.
Yeah.
And then when you go into it, with that assurance that okay, I've prayed about this and I feel good about this, I have peace in this, then you are certain that you actually made the right choice. So my advice to those people is find peace. Find peace. If you are at peace with that person, then that person is probably who you should be with.
I told someone, I said the right person will be easy.
Yes, exactly.
Like the whole thing, no stress, just like your story.
Yes.
My story wasn't easy. You haven't heard a third of it.
Oh, with him? You mean with him?
Oh, yeah.
Even in the 3 months.
Oh yeah, you haven't heard a third of it. But it's not a story for today. But it wasn't easy. It's not always. It wasn't easy.
Okay.
There were so many stories around, many conditions around, which I'm not ready to share. But to say that, yes, because we're Christians, faith, yeah. But also because we're Christians, I feel like there's this prayer my mom always prayed when we're young. I remember when we're homeless, pretty much living in Nigeria, then Lagos First Square Gospel Church, like open sides.
Yeah.
You just basically
Those-
slept in
yeah,
the church.
I know,
So it
yeah.
was open wind, rain will, coming through, and she'll pray at night and be like, in Igbo then, don't let me be ashamed, There's a scripture, I think it's Psalm 91, it says, it's something about, I look to the hills where my help comes from. And there's this verse about, you will not allow my foot
Should be moved.
to be moved or dash my foot against a
Against a
stone. You will
stone,
give
okay.
your angels charge
over me.
over me.
Okay.
And I believe that so much. And I find if you're a very strong prayer person and you hear God clearly, you're the type who, like Enoch, you walk with God basically, and you can hear him every step of the way. There are some people who say, "Oh, I saw my wife even from high school. Oh, I saw her face. I got her name. I knew who it was." But for some people like us, we walk by faith. And we basically trust.
Yeah.
And connecting to my mother's prayer, I always just say this to myself. I'm like, God, I feel like my life has always been committed to you, God. And I believe that any decision that I make right now
from you.
is from you. And if it's not from you, I know you will scatter it before it ever happens.
Yeah.
So I wish I could be that person to say, oh, every step of the way I saw it in my dream, or I heard God, or I saw it. I'm not there. I used to be as a teenager. Yes, I used to like see visions and see dreams like before they happen. But now that life has taken
Life has
over,
taken it.
I'm not there.
I
But
can imagine where you crash today. It's deep sleep.
Yes, it's deep
Yeah.
sleep. So I hold on to that, knowing that there is a greater hand on my shoulder that's leading, not me. So if I'm making a decision, not out of fear, not out of lust, not out of, overthinking things, and just, naturally, just like I know people don't like these words, but it's deep, but it's not that deep. If you walk with God, or if you are in, and when I say in tune with God, I'm not saying you're like hearing his voice in the air, but like if you're surrendered,
Yeah.
it's like every step of the way.
That's
It
your
doesn't
path.
mean you will not make mistakes, but
True.
you have trusted that
Yeah.
this life I'm living, every decision I'm making is coming from something greater than I am. And so just relaxing myself and not being anxious, because at the end of the day, sometimes we pray in anxiety. We pray, from that place of anxiety. And like, oh, is it him? Is it him? Is it not him? No, like just relax.
Yeah.
Even from just being friends or being in relationship, how do you feel around this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does this person, like you said, this person was so sweet. It's as simple as that. Just maybe
Yeah.
so kind and so
Yeah.
friendly and so makes you laugh or just makes you smile, or you just sit together and you do
Nothing
the funnest
matters.
things, and and time passes, and it's as simple as that. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, oh yes, my son, this is your wife. So, like I just want to
Yeah.
take it as,
Yeah.
and I want
Yeah.
to continue to enjoy life
Yeah.
like that, and just
Yeah.
trusting that there's a greater hand that's guiding me and guarding me. Yes, and like will order my steps, and not me always having to think, okay, so what should I do now? Just so, I know I make decisions also like that. And sometimes I feel like I make mistakes. So like when people come and say, oh, do this for me, I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I realize, oh no, this is too much. I can't handle it.
can't,
But at the same time, I'm learning to trust. I just want to continue knowing God that's easily, not being, there are times when I have to like pray God, I need to know that very critical. This is like my husband going to Cairo. They had to be like, oh no, is this, and even at that we make mistakes still. But so just knowing that there is a greater power, there's a greater hand, and like I always say, if it's God, if you will not have let it happen, and I've said yes to this thing,
Scatter it.
please scatter it. That's the word. and I just let go that way for me, and I say that's
Yeah. So what would you advise those people waiting out there in the 20s, 30s, 40s? It's a big problem. Sometimes they don't know what to do. I've had someone who's single, she's in her 40s, she's like, Faye, am I too much? you know. So it's a worry. It's a valid, you know, like, and sometimes they don't know how to manage themselves.
Yeah, I have my sister is a little older than I am, and she's not married. And sometimes I ask her, "Do you want to be married?" And because I feel like in my head, I'm like, if you desire a thing, I feel like it will happen in a way. But at the same time, there are people who desire. But if I go deep into that question, do you want to? Do you want to? I know, like, in that wanting, in that desire, is it on your heart? And because I sometimes when I speak to my sister, she'll be like, "Boy, maybe it will never happen for me." You know, like, I said, do you want it? Because personally speaking, I have never wanted something, honestly,
That didn't happen.
that didn't happen. And I say this in total humility to God and honesty. I have never wanted a thing where I know that my heart is right. It's not like, oh, I want this thing to show everybody. Like, for instance, the concerts, the album, the awards. It's not because. It's just that honest desire. I'm like, God, I really
For
want
yourself.
this thing.
Not because you want to show
Yeah,
off.
I just
or,
want this thing. This thing will make me happy, God. And I'm like, this is how I talk to God. Like sometimes in the car,
And why not?
I
If
feel
you
like-
work hard. Why not?
Yes.
I need this.
You
thing.
deserve it,
I just,
right?
I feel like this thing will mean a lot to me, and I begin to lay out sometimes reasoning for myself, so that I take myself out of the flesh. You know, I'm like, I do want this thing. And so I asked my sister that in honesty, and I see her sway. Like, oh, I'm not sure it's gonna happen. You know, like, do you want this thing? Because I feel like God puts desires in us sometimes, and that's why I don't worry when I feel like I want something. I just first calm down. Like, I think this is not. Maybe this is me. I do want it, but maybe God also wants it for me. So, I think desire is so important because now I don't desire an award and begin to chase everybody. Yeah, put my name on or anything. No, I like when I desire to put a concert together. One of the things that I do is spend time thinking, what am I going to do at this concert? What's the music going to be about? What am I trying to let people leave with? You know, so in that space, so I want to get married. What am I looking for? I want to have joy. I want to have my children. I want to have a family. I want to come back home every day to comfort, to warmth, and love and joy. It's actually basking in that need, in that desire, and seeing God in that. Not seeing just the things that are tangible, but seeing God in those. Because, like they say, faith brings about two things: good report, and then things that you can see. You know, like in the end. So the good report part, where you were focusing on the reason this need is important. Like, I know it's very spiritual, but it's not that deep. It's like, honestly, I treat these things very, very, very casually because that's just been
Your person.
my growing, all the way growing up. I've always just chatted with God, like on the streets, in the car, and just basically, and laying out my needs and say, God, I think I need this thing. This is why I think I may need this. I just pretending I'm talking to a dad because I've never really known my father, my earthly father. Yeah. He says I'm his favorite child, but I don't know him that way. But the only father I know is one I always talk to that I don't see. So I think that's just been easy for me. But so for the person who's in his 30s or 25s, I think desire it. Honestly, desire it from a positive light. Not that, oh, maybe I will never, or maybe I'm not good, or maybe I'm too much. No, like, see yourself as a bride. See yourself because you deserve it. Like, if I desire something, it's because I want it. I feel like it will make me happy. So and I feel like God responds to, like run into your father and like, give me that car or that toy on your desk, and he's so happy to share. Now I don't have that experience, but I feel like that's how dads do.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I feel like that's how God responds when you come with the joy of what this thing means to you.
And then,
He wants to see you keep smiling that way. So I feel like whether you're Christian or not, there is God. I believe in God, and people call it universe. I call it, I know it's God because I've felt Him real.
Yeah.
I would say just desire it and be honest about that desire. Like, even if you say, oh, you want to have someone to have sex with, it's okay. But just be honest
we're all
about your
sexual
desire.
beings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
God created
Be
it.
honest about
Exactly.
your desires and trust that someone made you for a reason, and he didn't make you to be alone. Like he
Yeah.
said, it
Yeah.
is not good for the man to be alone.
alone.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's just desire it and trust him.
I just wanted to say that what the mind conceives, they say, you can achieve. One thing though is a lot of times, and I will be devil's advocate for your sister. It's maybe she's wanted it so much, didn't get it, and then sometimes you just don't want to be disappointed. So you're like, okay, if it happens, if it doesn't happen, right? But I would say keep believing, be positive, keep saying what you want because there's power in the tongue,
Yes.
right? What you say will happen.
Yes.
Like if you don't feel like talking about it, then just keep quiet, rather than be negative.
Yeah.
Just, continue believing and it will happen.
Well, for me, I think my advice to people, ladies in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who are looking forward to, marriage and it hasn't happened yet, I would say enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey. Because in the midst of the journey, that's when, the surprise of the marriage will happen, So, you have to keep pushing. You have to keep on, the good attitude. Because the negativity is going to find a way to come into your heart.
Yeah.
Don't allow it.
Yeah.
If you desire it so much, and I thank you so much, Pepe, for hammering on that desire. If you desire it so much, then do not lose your guard.
Yeah.
I would say to you, especially in your 40s, go and socialize. The kind of man you're looking for, go where they are. Go. No, I mean,
Sorry.
I mean, yes, a lot of them are in places where single men are gathering. Mingle with people. If you have a brother or something, and they are going to a football match, go with him.
Go there. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you have a brother or a friend that's going to see, going to a hockey game, go there. Because the men are coming there, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So be available, and be out there so that you can be seen.
Yep.
Because yes, true. Man was not made to be alone. We're supposed to, have a partner to work with. So, but ultimately, one of the things that I want you to take out from this is enjoy
the journey.
the journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is something else I'll add to yours is that sometimes it won't happen the way you expect it to, right? You might think, a man should approach me this way. It may not be. It might even be you approaching the person.
Yes.
I don't think faith says not to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's sometimes what I've seen with God is sometimes you're expecting God to come this way and he comes this way. So be available, be open,
Yes.
right? Not I want tall, short, dark, whatever. It doesn't mean that you fall for anything because you've waited. So you need, you want that quality. But then at the same time, God works in various ways. All right. Thank you so much, Pepe and Taiwo. It has been such a wonderful conversation. And I really appreciate you taking time out to join me today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Life Couch with Feyi. If you want to share your experiences, your opinion, please add in the comment section. And if you wanted to send me an anonymous message, my details will be on the screen. Please send me a message. I can post on your behalf, right? So that, people don't know who's sending. But please subscribe, share, and join me on another episode of Life Couch with Feyi. Take care and bye.
Couch, stories we share, fade easy.